Science Beetle.
All right, so let's go ahead and continue our discussion. We're going to be talking about types of data. And in this video, the types of data that you want to be concerned about are the data types that the compiler is going to interpret from you, because you're going to provide this to the compiler so that it can make sense of the program. Let's go to this way. The first type of data is going to be the type of data that we know in terms of characters. And so the characters here are going to be letters. It's going to be numbers. And it can be symbols if you want, but typically it's going to be the letters and the numbers of the things that you're going to type out in the code. And there are lots of things that you're going to type out in code, but in general, characters can be any kind of letter, any kind of number, but they're going to be grouped together. And characters, when they're grouped together, are known as strings. And so here, this is a groups of characters. And the groups of characters are going to be actually surrounded by either double quotes like this, or they're going to be surrounded by single quotes single quotes like this. And so you can put in here a series here, so you can put here characters inside. And if I go back to the other one and type in characters in there, and so characters can be represented in here like that, inside the single and the double quotes. It's important that you understand when to use the single and the double quotes, and we'll explore that here soon in another video. But for right now, know that the type of data that we can get is we can get characters, we can get strings inside quotes, and then the other type of data that we can actually use, or will be using here, are going to be the numbers. And so numbers here can be literally any whole number. And also numbers can include decimals, and so those in programming languages are often called floats. And so those are essentially called, they're representing decimals. And the decimals for us are the typical, for example, 1.25, if you want to do that. Now, if you're knowing, so if what you're going to do here is when you're writing your code, you're going to use either characters, strings, or numbers. And remember that whenever we talk about characters, characters includes numbers. It also includes letters. And so when you put them together, the strings then can be a combination of individual characters grouped together to form strings, or strings can also include numbers. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and take a little bit closer look at how we can distinguish between characters, strings, and numbers, especially when we start to talk about assignment. But keep in mind that there are other data types, numbers, which are essentially numeric types. Not only do you have the whole numbers, which are often called ints or integers, but we also have the floats that I just mentioned, and we're also going to get a little bit more of complex numbers that we have there. But another type of data that we want to address here is going to be the sequence types. And so this sequence type of data is going to be the type of data that's involved with lists, with a concept known as tuples, and something that is known as a range. The other type of data that we're going to get to be able to use when we use Python is something known as a Boolean. And a Boolean is typically just going to be your bool type, which generally is going to be either a yes or a no. It's a true or false type of condition. So it's an either or. And so those are kinds of things that we want to know there as well. Lastly here, in terms of major types that we're going to use here, there's another one known as a mapping type of data. And this is going to be something that is associated with something known as a dictionary. And so this is when you're coupling data together and trying to organize the data. The dictionary type of organizational structure is going to help us get a lot of that data that we enter organized for us. So those are the data types that we want to explore in this video. We will continue to explore them in subsequent videos, and hopefully you can join us as we continue that exploration. We'll see you in the next video.